do a bunch of the public meeting stuff at the beginning of our agenda, or do I need to read any of the Zoom stuff?
No, no, I will do the statement about the call in. I will handle.
Okay.
And also just as a matter of practice, maybe this is a little late in the year to bring this up, but you don't have to read the entire agenda item word for word if you don't want to. You just say
Oh,
we're opening six regarding this, and
oh,
so I keep meaning to say
I
that, but
was just trying to have a complete record.
I know I need to tell Chairman Abbott that for the as well. Everyone likes to read the entire thing. I'm not aware of any requirement for that.
Okay.
So, because and part of it is guilt. My agenda items can run on a little bit. I don't like hearing
They
my
get a little
work read.
wordy.
Yeah, trying to cover bases, it doesn't necessarily make for great poetry.
Right.
Yeah, we were thinking about self-publishing your
Yeah,
agenda item titles on Amazon.
Oh, there we go.
right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I do have just that one quick statement at the beginning and
Okay, do you want to do that before the roll call?
but after the roll call before public comment.
Okay, great. I will
Let's
cue
make sure
you up.
let's make sure we have a quorum. Maybe I'll get out of it completely.
Right. If only.
If only not. I love these meetings. What? Come on.
We dream about them.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. I hope not.
Let's see.
I think we're getting there. I think we're good. Let's see. Let me just.
I think we do.
Hey, there's lots of people here.
Yeah, there's definitely a quorum here.
Okay. Well, then I will call to order the Technical Advisory Committee agenda or meeting for Friday, January 30th, 2026. And may I have a roll call and establishment of quorum?
Yes, ma'am. Janelle Thomas,
Here.
Chris Bronzik, Rob Beadart. I saw him.
I
He's
saw
here.
him.
Ashley Elson,
Here.
Amber Sosa. Okay, not here.
For the record,
Jeez.
Robert, I think said yes, but he was actually he
Muted.
Muted.
muted
Okay.
himself by
Trina
accident.
Magoon.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Trina
Oh,
Magoon.
there you are.
All right. Mary Horvath,
Here.
John Simpson,
Here.
Donna Noel, Amira Morrow. She's here. Zachary Carter,
Present.
Chris Fritzen. Not here. Donnie Gilman. Kathy Canfield.
I'm here.
Excellent. You have quorum.
Thank you. And Mike, do you want to do your announcement?
Yes, thank you. Those who wish to make public comment by telephone may do so by calling 1-253-215-8782 and using access code 861-1853-2620. If you are unable to access the meeting with that number, please call Michael Wolz at 775-813-1662. Thank you.
For the record, Trina Magoon is here.
Pardon?
For the record, Trina Magoon is here. She just joined.
Oh, thank you. Welcome, Trina. Item 2 is public comment. During this comment period, any person is invited to comment on any topic, regardless of whether it is listed on the agenda or not. Action may not be taken on any matter raised during this public comment period until the agenda item is opened or the matter is specifically listed on a future agenda. Those who wish to comment on an item that has been listed on this agenda may, if they prefer, comment when that item has opened for consideration by the board and before action is taken. Comment must be made as described above and is limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any public comment?
Seeing none.
Okay. All right, we will close item 2 and move on to item 3, approval of the TAC agenda for Friday, January 30th, 2026. Are there any comments or changes recommended? I'm open to a motion.
To approve the minutes from January 30th, 2026.
Oh, I can barely hear you, Rob.
I motion to approve the agenda for January 30th, or the meeting minutes from January 30th, 2026.
Oh, actually, it's the agenda, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. So I have a motion by Rob Bedar and a second by Mary Horvath. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Item 4, discussion and possible action to approve the draft minutes of the Friday, December 5th, 2025 TAC meeting. Any comments, edits? Motion?
I'll motion to approve. Ashley Olson.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, I have a motion by Ashley and a second by Rob. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Item number 5, announcements. Mr. George Robeson.
Okay, I just have a couple of announcements besides what we're going to be covering. One is we are changing the name of our working groups to Community Outreach Workshops. Moo. No, cow. But anyways, the point is that it is more of an outreach meeting. It is more of a longer term workshop. So we want the title to reflect better what we're doing there and point out that it is an outreach, like for some of the things we're using it for, like Rock-to-McCarran. So that's a change in title, but also probably the more pertinent thing is we are planning community outreach workshops for the past design work in Vista Narrows, and that's more of an informational. It won't be bringing the team in, but just it'll be Danielle and I working on, explaining what's been done in the past, etc. Then we have a Rock-to-McCarran 30% coming at the end of March. That's scheduled. We've talked to that will be driven by the consulting team. Then we have a Truckee River flood project overall at the end of April, and there will be an emphasis on the 3 design projects that we're going to be talking about a little bit more in this meeting, and why they're important, that kind of thing, how they tie in together, all that kind of stuff, more theoretical than what we normally would do. And then finally, we'll probably, this is very tentative, but at the end of May, we may have a Vista Narrow design progress workshop. They should be doing quite a bit on, like, what, for lack of a better term, value engineering and what we found out about that by then. And so that might be a good time to have an outreach meeting to just share with people what's going on in the general public. So that is, kind of a shift a bit. And we're having 4 months in a row of these, which we normally try to have maybe once every 2 or 3 months. But because there's a lot going on, we're going to have a lot of these right in a row. The second thing I just wanted to let you know is we've been doing videos for outreach to try to get people more flood aware. And is an example of one of the videos. This is the most successful one. The name of it is Remember the Lessons of the Past. It was put up on Facebook, and for example, it's our best one. So, the other ones have done quite well too, but this one, 79,000 plus views, 64,000 plus viewers, 3,500 plus engagements, 220 new followers from that video, 36 comments, and 72,000 plus impressions. And then also it was distributed 1.6x, which means it was distributed out to a wider audience, possibly on other platforms. So that is an actual video about flood awareness. It's about flooding in the past. And so that has been a very successful outflow from these videos. Just wanted to announce that because I really don't have a placeholder for that, but just for if you have something like that, you might want to consider having really good storytelling videos, get them out on social media. Because I know from a fact from how people are coming up to me and talking with me out of nowhere, these videos are working. It is getting the word out about what the Truckee River's capable of doing. So that's it for my announcements. If there's any, so I'll give it back to you, Janelle.
All right. Thank you, George. Any other announcements from any of the other members? Okay, seeing none. Moving on to item 6, discussion and possible action to elect the 2026 TURFMA TAC Chair and Vice-Chair, Mr. Wolves. And you're muted.
People enjoy my presentations better when I'm muted generally, so that would be okay. Anyway, the bylaws for the Technical Advisory Committee say that we shall annually elect from its members a chair and a vice chair. So at this time, we're calling for nominations for that.
I nominate Janelle Thomas for chair, unless she doesn't want to do it anymore.
Oh. I'm okay. Is that acceptable?
Yes, of course, there are no limitations.
Oh, okay.
We can make you chair for life. We'll just
There's no term limit.
none
Oh,
whatsoever.
okay. Just making sure. I didn't want to violate any rules.
Hoping there was some sort of limit.
Right. I'll nominate John Simpson as the vice chair.
I'll
Or is
second
that?
both.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy to do it. I am an alternate, so I don't know if that has any impact.
Oh,
Maybe we
It's
need to
kind of a
volunteer. Mary.
Reno tradition to have their alternate as the vice
I was
chair.
going to say, Mr.
Oh.
Coudray, Mr.
Joe
Coudray
was-
was the vice chair for a number of years. We just have to be careful when we're voting. That's the only concern, but there's no limitation on that.
Okay.
so do we need to take a vote on the motions?
So there was a little cross talking. Was there a second on the nomination of the chair?
I
Oh.
seconded both.
Okay.
And sorry. And then I had also suggested possibly Mary as the vice chair if we had a problem with the alternate situation. But if we don't, and we just have to be mindful of who John is the alternate for during those meetings, I think that's reasonable. And we have done it that way in the past.
Okay. All right. Yes, then we can go to a vote then.
Okay. So, for chair, me, Janelle Thomas, for the chair, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hopeful? Oh, okay. Motion carries. I'll stay chair. And then, for vice chair, John Simpson, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? John didn't oppose. Okay, so welcome to the vice chair position, John.
I'm not allowed to vote, so you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, right, yeah.
This is the first example. He could not vote for himself.
Very well. All right.
We are forcing him to be vice chair.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to item 7, and Mr. Walls has informed me that I don't have to read the entire paragraph. So basically, this is a presentation and discussion of the RFQs for the various projects. George, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. And today I decided to give you guys a break and not, bring up PowerPoints and stuff. But I did want to just go over a couple of things about where we're at with these different RFQs. So far, we've had 7 firms show interest in TMWA and also the airport. So 7 each. Sometimes those firms are mutually exclusive, sometimes they're overlapping. And then we had 10 firms that have shown interest in the North Bank feasibility study. That does not mean that there are 10 teams. It means that there are 10 firms that showed interest. Some of those are teaming up, so it's probably not 10. It's more like maybe 5 or 6 on North Bank and probably about 4-ish on the other 2. So just to let you know, there is significant interest. There are other teams that are talking about actually, and these are people that have asked to get on the site and be able to download more information and get any of the questions and answers. Our questions and answers have been minimal. We've had one about basically what the what the approach should look like, how detailed it should be. And I answered that one for a couple of them. It actually applied to 2 of them. And then we had a question on insurance we dealt with. And then we had a couple other miscellaneous questions. So not a whole lot of questions. And so that leads me to my next thing, our next item about this is we've talked about subcommittees. We talked about the last meeting, and I emailed everybody about that. And so I think I have firmed up subcommittees, not everybody yet, but I want to just list out the people and then just confirm who wants to be on these subcommittees. Each one of these will review that RFQ, the people that bring in the statements of qualifications. So they'll help us determine who we pick to go ahead and do a contract with and move ahead with. So on TMWA, right now, we have Michael Friend from TMWA is going to be on the committee with us because that's a very important stakeholder since they own all the land that's being worked on. I'm also on the committee. Danielle Henderson's also on the committee. Chris from the county is on the committee. And then the county says, look, if Chris can't make it, Janelle would be an alternate for him or a backup. And then from Reno, I don't know on TMWA for sure, but I do know it's one of 3 people, Trina, Mary, or John. So if you guys could let me know which one is your TMWA. What is that? How that one guy puts it? I'll be your, yeah, oh, I can't remember. It's from that Western. But anyways, who is the person on?
Huckleberry?
What's that?
Huckleberry?
That's it. I'll be your Huckleberry. Okay. So who's my Huckleberry on TMWA? If you don't know yet, that's fine. But if you are, it would be cool to say, yeah, I'm your Huckleberry on TMWA. But anyways, so that's Reno. And then Sparks, because it's on Sparks ground, you can have 1 or 2. So Rob or Amber or Ashley, you can have 1 or 2. It's up to you how many you want to have and who you want to be on that committee. So you too can say I'm your Huckleberry for Sparks.
On that committee, we'll have Ashley on that one.
Okay, so Ashley will be the okay. Okay, so that's TMWA. So that means we have 6 people on TMWA. And now we can move on to the airport. And it's still not confirmed, but we believe a person named Brandon Reef will be the airport representative. And once again, they have one because they have the engineering expertise and it's all on airport land that we're doing this stuff. So they're a very important stakeholder. Then, of course, myself and Danielle. Then we have Janelle with Chris as a backup. And I believe now I might be wrong on this, but I think it's Mary and Trina with John as an alternate. Is that correct, Trina? For this one, you had said you wanted to have Mary and Trina, I mean, Mary and yourself.
Yeah, I had suggested we have two on this one. I think it would be important for me to understand your timeframes of these reviews because we have a lot going on. So that's
Okay.
my struggle in assigning who's going to be involved. So depending on when these are coming in and your due dates, I need to go back and look at those. Sorry, I've not been able to do that yet. My gut says it's probably Mary and John at this point because I've got another two very large projects that I'm working on.
Okay, okay. And what I'll do is I'll send you guys an email with all the dates that, because it comes, the 17th is when these are due, February 17th, but the subsequent dates of when we're going to review and everything. But we are giving it some time because we don't have the board, come in and with the contract all the way into April. So there will be some time for review, but I'll let you know that kind of the proposed schedule of that and
Along,
Okay.
along with interview dates, I'm assuming you're going to have interviews.
I don't know. It off like last time with Rock-to-McCarran, we did have an interview because we had two that were very close. With Wadsworth, we did not have an interview because the one really beat the other one pretty badly, and there was no need for an interview. But there is an option of an interview. I want to see how these candidates lay out before I confirm an interview because it is a burden on us and it's a burden on them to have to interview. And if one is like way ahead on points and everybody's like, yeah, that's the one, there's no reason for us to really interview. But if they're close, we need to interview. I would imagine with the number of firms, we'll probably have to interview. So I will say that. So that's I'll give you that too if we have interviews when they would likely occur. Okay, so also on the airport, Sparks, do you have anybody in mind?
George, I'll be the lead on that one, and
Okay.
Ashley would be the second as an
Okay.
alternate. And then on the TMWA one, as an alternate to Ashley, we'll have Becca Epstein.
Becca, okay. Okay. So I think that's it for that. So the airport would have 7. So there's 6 on TMWA, 7 on the airport, and then but we don't know exactly who yet. And then on this North Bank Levee, I have myself and Danielle again. Then I have Amira Morrow from the PLPT, and I have Janelle with Chris backing her up. And then I have Mary, and I don't know who you'll have for alternates, but I don't think, we'll do that on the email unless you've changed your mind, Reno, on that, but I don't think you did. And then Sparks, you can have 1 or 2 on this. This is a very important
George, we
you
want
guys,
to.
so
We want to. Amber and me will be on the committee with Ashley being an alternate.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, yeah. About every council person on that council is very interested, so yeah, we want to be careful you have good coverage on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we're at with this. So like I said, I think the only loose end right now is I will email Reno to get their exact representation, but we will have 7 on North Bank Levee, we'll have 7 on the airport, and we'll have 6 on TMWA. Okay.
And you said
Where's
that the SOQs are due on February 17th?
I believe so. If I misquoted that, I'm sorry. But let me verify that. Yes.
Okay.
4 p.m. PST, February 17th.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All
right.
right. Okay,
Anything
so
else?
that's about all I have, unless you have some questions about anything about what's going on with these. I've been I can't really talk a lot to the consulting teams because it's we're in a hot, bid process or a statement of qualification process, but they do have access to the questions if they have any need for follow-up, but there hasn't been a lot of that yet, and I don't anticipate too much of that.
Right. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none. All right. We'll move on to item 8, which is an update on the status of Vista Narrows project. So George and Danielle.
Yeah, I'll start off with the engineering side, and then Danielle can finish off with the permitting side. Because with Vista, permitting's always been, and I hope I'm not too far away here. Where's my thing that I had for this? Oh, here we go. Great. So on this, we have in December we got the contract going. We've had one major meeting about where we're at with the project and where everything stands. And what a lot of right now is kind of recalibrating all the information from the 65%. So this thing has a pretty extensive already design, but the design is 6 years old. So the idea is here, how do we what needs to be updated? For instance, the modeling that it was based on was not the PMR model. And the PMR model, in my opinion, is superior. And there may be some real opportunities for value engineering because of the detailing of the PMR model, for instance. There are other opportunities as well. So one of the things they want to do is do a kind of a workshop on that, but not a public workshop, but more like with just like the engineers and key people and talk about what we can do, what can we do differently based on what they're seeing. So they're working on that right now and collecting information and trying to figure out what they need to update and not update. They are working on a new or the base information for a new cost analysis to update that right now. So we are going to have a meeting here on the 5th with them for more updates on Vista. The whole idea is that sometime around the middle of the year we will have that kind of a value engineering thing in the next few months. And sometime by the end of the year, we're going to be very close to 100% and producing bid documents. And so the key there will be hopefully the permit process will be keeping up with this so that at the beginning of next year we can put out bid documents for Vista Narrows. And I've said this in public quite a bit, but we do have enough money unless there's a crazy new cost estimate on Vista, which I don't anticipate. I mean, it'll be maybe a little bit more than maybe what we had before, but we're going to have to do value engineering too, and we have more than enough money to get Vista done and do all these design projects. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So Danielle, if you're around, could you tell us where we're at with the permitting? I mean, I kind of know, but I think everybody else would like to.
Yeah, happy to. I just have a few highlights to go over with you all. Danielle Henderson, Natural Resource Manager for the record. In the fall of last year, the Corps of Engineers reviewed the Section 408 permission application package and provided comments to us on the draft environmental assessment. They submitted those comments to us at the end of October of last year. And so then we worked with our environmental consultants to update the EA and those supporting documents. We were addressing the comments that were made by the Corps team, which did include the Office of Legal Counsel, as well as their hydraulics folks, some cultural resources folks. So it was kind of an overall review of what we had submitted. We sent those updated versions to the Corps in December for further review. So that's where we are in that process. They are looking at our documents. We've given them some new material to look at, waiting on comments for those. We do have a few remaining items to sort of tie up some loose ends with those documents. We are working with our design team to go through some additional hydraulic modeling work. And this is just to better characterize the downstream impacts from implementation of the Vista Narrows floodplain terracing as a standalone project. So we're just trying to clarify that in the EA narrative and in the documentation on the project. We're also working with our consultants to go through and wrap up the cultural resources coordination with tribal representatives. They need some information and input from the tribal representatives in order to complete the draft cultural resources report. And both of those items feed into an updated version of this draft EA, which becomes the Corps' document in the end. So the bottom line is that, you know, the process is moving forward and we are in communication with the Corps, but, you know, it's kind of slowly but surely. We've retained the incumbent environmental consultants to work on the Vista Narrows 100% design. So we have Nancy Kong for environmental work and Couts Environmental Consultants for the cultural resources work. And we're very pleased to be working with them to bring this project to completion. We recently submitted application forms to the Bureau of Land Management requesting permission to build facilities on federal lands. It's sort of a right-of-way special use permit since we'll be building the project on a portion of BLM. A portion of the Vista Narrows project will be built on land that's managed by the BLM. So it's just one of the other required permits that we need for the project. And we are in communication with BLM. They're looking at the forms that we submitted, and we've gotten a hold of their realty office. So that's promising. And I guess last thing, recent information is that we just reinitiated coordination with NDOT regarding the Vista Narrows project and the I-80 East widening project. Eventually, our engineering design team will be preparing an NDOT encroachment application, and we're all going to be coordinating our construction schedules as both of these large-scale projects move forward. So that's also in process. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
I'm not seeing any.
Perfect.
Any hands raised?
That was detailed and great. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
you're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Well, then we will close item 8 and move on to item 9. Update on the progress of the Rock-to-McCarran flood project, 30% design. George?
Okay, yeah, their design team is progressing quickly. They have moved a lot from their design documentation type stuff where they're doing the rationale and all the calculations and things like that into actual design drawings. I believe they have a set of drawings now that's in the well over 100 drawings. So they're working on those. Most of them, big chunks of them are actually done. But the part that isn't done is the transportation and the parks part, especially in the upper terrace. We still have to do some coordination on traffic. And it sounds like the Reno traffic people want to wait for the 30% design to really dig into that. And NDOT with the bridge on McCarran also want to kind of wait for that. So we're ready as soon as we do the 30% to coordinate on both those things. Another thing that we were coordinating on is the fact that there are bats under the bridge and how we would go about that. And Danielle and others, the design team, environmentals, went in and had a meeting with Fish and Wildlife on that. And that meeting went really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the point is that we, that sounds like that's a doable thing to have a trail on both the north and south side, which that connects us to that bridge on the downstream side so that we can connect to the bike trail from Tahoe to Pyramid. So we've got that rolling along. And like I said, there is a lot of information that they're going through on how to lay out the park. There's nuances, and a lot of that will come out in the 30%, but the basic design of the park is pretty much intact. There's just little tweaks of things that they're coming up with, and it's starting to get tighter and more, what would be the word? It's coming more into focus of exactly what we want to do. And so the parks sub is really engaging and trying to get better detailing on what exactly this will look like as well. And so there is some open areas like with the traffic flow. If those assumptions hold, then it works. If it doesn't, then there might have to be modification. But as far as everything else, the geotac, everything else, that is going well. And like I said, they're in the design drawing phase of the 30% now. We are expecting to have a something with the TAC at the end of March, and then also a working group. Well, now it's called a community outreach workshop about this at the end of March, so that we can take this to the board and talk about the 30% to the board. So we want to get some public comment again. We want to get public outreach again. We also want to outreach to our stakeholders here. So that's kind of the plan going forward on Rock-to-McCarran. But there's a lot of, basically, the guys have their heads down, guys and gals have their heads down, working on drawings, working on finalizing that 30% design right now. So it's in good shape. They're making a lot of progress, but there's nothing earth-shattering or new except for tweaking a bit of the park design here and there as you come up with different issues and minor issues that you see. So that's all I have on that. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
All right, Mary, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so George, you're thinking maybe April now for the meeting with Public Works, for City of Reno Public Works?
I think so, because it sounds like they want to wait for the 30 is what I'm getting from the consultant. So it's on the transportation side.
Yeah.
So and like they have been, I mean, there's been a lot of progress made on making sure all utilities are covered. So I think that's good. But the transportation planning, I don't know how they would do something different, but you never know. Because we got an existing light there, and the way it lays out, it probably has to be the way it is.
So
But
you're thinking no additional light right now?
that I don't want to like be wrong. So
Okay.
I don't think so, but I don't want to like sit there and predict something that's not true.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
All right, moving on to item 10, review and discussion of the Truckee River Flood Management Authority draft Board of Directors meeting agenda for February 13th, 2026. I have either Mike or George.
I've got that.
Okay.
Just quickly, aside from our usual housekeeping agenda items, the board will be electing its new leadership, as well as considering an amendment to our lease agreement for our office space here to extend the term of that agreement for 3 years. We will then have a discussion regarding a joint funding agreement with the city of Sparks on the floodplain remapping for the North Truckee drain, that it's in conjunction with the LOMAR for that area. There will be the performance evaluations for our executive director, George Robeson. There'll also be a review of the performance evaluations for me, general counsel, and for Deborah Crowley, our chief financial officer. And then the final item will be an update on the Vista Narrows design agreement and the permitting, which you just heard. So that's that.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Rolls? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 12 or 11, committee member comments, requests, and future agenda items.
I know I discussed this earlier, but or at an earlier meeting, but I think we still should have a discussion of the PMR version issues and have a presentation or at least discussion with HDR and potentially Gary Bruner if we can get him.
Any other?
Wait a minute, and Gary Bruner?
Yeah, Gary Bruner works for HDR.
Yeah,
So
I
he-
know that. I know that. What about Gary Bruner?
Just the version differences, because in downtown Reno, there's a significant, it's not significant elevation wise, but it's significant for the inundation.
Floodway?
No, the inundation differences between when you run the PMR and existing conditions in 6.3.1 versus 6.6 pretty significant. And there's up to actually over a foot of differences in water surface elevation in several places. But I talked to Mitch about it, and he said they'd be open to having a discussion with the city. And I mean, I would assume Washoe County and Sparks would just be as interested. Because the PMR FEMA
You're
maps would
talking
be,
about how the bridges are handling things, right?
yeah. So just an explanation of that. I mean, Mitch could do it certainly, but just that because people will be running it in the latest version. So like I was doing, and it can get pretty confusing. So
Yeah, with the new bridge stuff, it's
right.
very different. Yeah.
And 6.6 is better, but then the flood maps will be based on 6.3.1. So I think just an explanation of the technical, I mean, maybe it won't be in a meeting, but I just think we need to discuss it as a community.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that offline. Let's talk about that and see
Okay.
what we want to do. I think Mitch could handle it, but I
Yeah.
mean, if they want to bring Gary in, that's great too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy.
Hi, if this was just a comment thing, I just wanted to thank George for coming. We had a Lockwood flood evacuation drill in December, and George was able to show up for a little while and chat with a lot of people, and I just appreciate him coming and helping. So I'm not the only one kind of screaming about this is an emergency, this flood stuff is important. So I appreciate him being there. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Seeing no comments, we'll enter the second public comment period. Do we have any other further public comment?
I don't see any further public comments. I have a comment. The executive director review has been distributed, and just try and check for that in your inbox. If you have time, you can complete that.
All right. Thank you. And with that, we will go to item 13, which is adjournment, and we are officially adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Right. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.